All right, I am back with another video. So the question was, should I pay more than my minimum payment? Yes, you should.
And another woman that can take your spotlight. If I wrote you a symphony, just to say how much you mean to me, what would you do? If I told you you were beautiful, would
You should aim to pay the entire balance of your credit card by the statement date, if possible. So I want to clarify a few things before I want to clarify. The answer to the question is yes, but I want to clarify something. So let's say you have a $500 credit limit. You are entitled and you are more than welcome to use that entire limit on that credit card. If you are able to pay the credit card's balance by the statement date. These banks want to see that you are using your credit card. They don't want you to not use your credit cards. They want you to use them, but they want you to use them responsibly. So even if you wanted to use the entire $500 on your credit card, as long as you had that balance paid back down by your statement date, it doesn't matter how often or how much you use your credit card. As long as what reports to the credit bureaus on your statement date is at least 10% of the credit limit, you are good to go. But if you cannot afford to pay or use your card to the max, I don't recommend using all of the credit limit on the card. If you can only afford to use 10% of the card, then use 10% of the card and keep it that way. And then when it's time to pay your bill, if you can only afford to pay the minimum payment, do so. But if you can afford to pay at least $10 to $15 more than the minimum payment, also do so. And you don't have to use your entire limit on your credit card throughout the month. But you should be using your credit card more than your debit card if possible. You should be using your credit card for payments, for everyday purchases if possible. Especially if you can afford to pay the card back, you know what I mean? But if you're just starting out new to credit, I do recommend at least paying at least $10 to $15 more than your minimum payment. But if you can only pay your minimum payment, I would only recommend spending 10% of your credit limit on your card just to keep them balances low, because I don't want you to risk 1 month you have the money to run the card up and then pay it back now by the statement date, but then the next month comes up and then you have something pop up and you don't have the funds like you did the previous month to run the card up and pay it back down by the statement date. You only have enough to pay the minimum payment, and now you got this high utilization reporting on this low limit card, and now your score take a hit from it because the utilization is inconsistent. This month you was reporting 2% utilization. This next month you ran it up to like 30-40% because the balance is so high, because you thought that ends were going to meet like it did last month, and it doesn't. So unless you are consistently bringing in a steady flow of income and you've got your expenses, you got things just budgeted out perfectly, don't play around too much with your credit cards. Only use X amount, maybe let one subscription hit your credit card, or only use the card for gas or something like that. But it also depends on your credit limit. But to go back to the original question, yes, pay more than your monthly minimum payment if possible, at least $10 to $15 more. But if you can't, I totally understand. At least pay the minimum payment, but keep the balance. Keep it to 10%, like utilization-wise. Keep that card 10% or below if possible, okay? So yeah, that's it on that. All right, peace out.
Because I can see us holding hands, walking on the beach, our toes in the sand. I can see us on the countryside, sitting on the grasslands.